This is the second part of types of energies and where to find them in the water cycle. So this is the other page, the other side of your page. You should have already filled out the back of this. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the words that we just learned and we're going to label them on our paper one at a time. So the first one that we took notes on, we flip our paper over, reservoir. So we're going to label all of our reservoirs and transfers. So remember, reservoirs are the ones where water is staying in one place, a hotel for water. So the first one I can think of is down here, the ocean. The water goes to the ocean and it stays there for a long time. So the ocean is a reservoir. The ocean is a reservoir. Okay. When the water evaporates, it moves from the ocean up to the clouds. So because it's moving, it's a transfer. Because it's moving. Then once we get up into the clouds, it is a reservoir. Now, even though the clouds do move across the sky, they move very slowly, and we're going to consider that a cloud is a reservoir. Water is stored in clouds. It stays there for a while until it precipitates. So it is also still a reservoir up here. Reservoir, I can spell, I swear. Reservoir, but once it starts to precipitate, it becomes a transfer. Okay, it's also transfer over here, even if it's snowing. It's moving, it's a transfer. Now, when the snow falls on the mountains over here, it stays in what's called a snowpack. And in the snowpack in the mountains, this is a reservoir. That's kind of hard to read right there, but this is a reservoir because snow is stored, it stays up in the mountains for a long time. Once it melts or after it rains, goes into the rivers, it is moving. So that means this surface runoff here is a transfer as it's going down into the rivers. Okay. Transpiration is also a transfer because it is a type of evaporation. And then groundwater over here. Groundwater, there is an arrow that shows that it moves down. It does a little bit. Most water in the ground actually does not move very fast. It moves very, very, very slow. So we're going to call groundwater a reservoir. Okay, so we have all our transfers and reservoirs labeled. Let's go ahead and label our collections. Now our collections are going to be wherever there's a reservoir. So collection is here. Collection is here. Collection. 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 Okay. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to label our energies. Our first energy is thermal energy. Remember, all thermal energy comes from the sun, and all energy in the water cycle comes from the sun. So we're going to put thermal energy up here by the sun. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a little key down here because I don't want to have to write out kinetic energy and potential energy so many times. So down here, I'm going to say PE equals potential energy and KE equals kinetic energy. That way I can just put PE and KE instead of the entire word, okay? Now, potential energy is anywhere where water is stored or it's not moving. So there is potential energy down here. There's potential energy up here. Potential energy up here. Potential energy here. Potential energy down here. And kinetic energy is anywhere where the water is moving. So we have kinetic energy here. Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy, kinetic energy. There's lots of kinetic energy in the water cycle. Okay, have I missed any? I don't think I have. Okay, so once you've done this, you're not gonna like what I say next. Color it. Give me a little color in this picture before you turn it in. Make sure that your name gets on it. Great job.